doesn't necessarily come down to draft all the time. I think, once again, tracking on Viking, pivotal. Finding early skirmishes. Whoa, what the? Hold me. Please.
I don't know what.
What is happening?
I'm so confused.
And I'm scared.
Do you know what? You very well. You did the classic thing of you gave me a lot of words, but neither of them were a prediction.
So I think you can play around the middle. Honestly, I think you have early game agency to play around for. You have LeBlanc and Sin Sao, which is quite easy to skirmish with.
Yeah.
You have a long-range composition with a Jinx and with a Karma to facilitate extra movement speed. I actually think Riddle can win this one. I do believe they can from a compositional point of view.
They can physically destroy the enemy Nexus, but will they win this game?
I mean, that's up to Riddle, really.
You need to give me a yes or a no.
Why am I answering?
This is what I'm saying. Dusty 3-0. There you go. I've answered.
Riddle get this one.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
I like to stand out.
Took 64 seconds for you to get there.
That's why I'm a color. And
I was going to
play.
say, the desk get the...
It's what we call a Cloud9 statement.
Okay. Also, for those of you who are watching on at home, keep your eyes up for that momentum meter. We've got our high-level analysts and initialize backstage. See what I did there? It was a little joke at his expense. It's fine.
Fair enough. Well, I didn't really get it was a joke. Honestly, I thought you were nice until you said it was a joke.
You know, just you got to make sure that everyone's on the same page. But minions have clashed. Riddle need to win this game to keep their hopes of going forward alive, keep their hopes of European Masters and the finals alive. Dusty one win away from facing Bifrost on Wednesday. And you know what? We've got very new look teams that you've already broken down very, very successfully. What are we going to see in the early game? Because this
okay, so let's start at one place, right? Let's start down towards the bot side. What
okay.
you get when you get a Lux Karma lane is a lane that consistently wants to shove in wave and slowly but surely take care of the turret. Yes. They want to poke the enemy out of their own lane by either hitting the traps, binding, hitting the E's as well from FGG. But what you want to do then with Riddle's bot lane is that you want to contest the wave shop. You want to get the help from Karma to make sure that these waves doesn't get stacked up properly, to make sure that the time that Venza and FGG will have on your tower will not be as long as they would want to. And then it's getting out of lane. Then it's waiting for those teamfight scenarios, and it's waiting for the proper window where warding has timed out, where Venza and FGG will be overstepping, and where you potentially can create some pressure by having a winning 2v2 in the mid lane, moving it down towards the bot side, and then catch Venza and FGG, which are immobile off guard.
Interesting. I'm going to keep an eye and see if they do manage to play around this bot side. Of course, top side, we've got Alif on the Aatrox against the Ornn, a champion who can definitely get stuff done. And we know how much Viking has enjoyed going to the top lane. It's been a very fertile hunting ground for him today. Can he potentially do the same thing?
No, I think it's very difficult this time around to go for the top side when you play against double armor or double attack damage dealers in terms of top laner and jungler. You can just go for double armor runes. Viking, don't know if he spotted MC. He will now.
Will have seen him now, but Backlund needs to be careful running down the river. Viking is there to flash more from MC. That could have been dangerous. Backlund's still alive. The damage coming through from the Zin, that was big. First blood goes over to Viking. Slowly looking to return it, but the shield is there. Dusty securing first blood onto the Lisa, and that could be massive.
That is so huge that they don't get to just one-shot a target with the LeBlanc and the Sin Sao, which we have just highlighted. Viking comes out through Fog of War, and Riddle, they're just not ready for it. First blood over to Dusty. And, this was something that needed to work from Riddle. This needed to be a kill. Face rush from Backlund. Make sure he gets out of there from safety. The Q never gets proc from slow Q, and therefore it never puts him in a lethal range. Slow Q as well playing with the teleport, not the ignite. So there's not really that extra offensive summoner spells to help you chime down the kill, really.
Fatty Chan taking a bit of poke, as you'd expect against Caitlyn Lux, as we do see MC and Viking both in the neighborhood. Just checking things out. MC will be spotted up as he clears out the last bit of that ward. Viking notably was not no vision around, but with Venza and FGG extending, pushing further, they are not going to look for a dive, and it's just going to be the recall.
But mid lane failing with that play in turns is a little bit of a butterfly effect, because that means what we just talked about transferring mid lane pressure down towards the bot side, it will not happen. And this helps the Dusty bot lane being more aggressive, under the enemy turret, as we're seeing right here.
What they're doing, and they might just have enough to kill the Karma. They will be able to. Fanichan steps forward, but doesn't go down. Viking is looking towards it. If he can land the snipe, this is a free kill, but MC's going to be following on through. What can Fanichan do? He has Cleanse, he has Flash. Will use it to get away from Viking, who does need to be a little bit careful, but the minion wave will crash on through. FGG and Venza should be able to come in to support. Flash draw from Lux will hit the binding. The damage is there as well as Dusty get aggressive and secure another kill.
It's so beautiful. They knew MC didn't have that flash. FGG flashes forward once again, and what a stellar series this guy has had. We were talking in the green room, and you were asking me, who's my MVP? I said Aleph, but I did say as well that FGG really has been showing up in this series.
Very, very true. We've seen exceptional performances all 3 games. Of course, this game is still young, but as we look at this one again, nice bindings, nice plays. Once again from FGG.
It is, and Nuke's not respecting the binding. Remember, that goes through 2 minions, not just 1. Well, it goes through 1 and then continues. Yeah. Viking not only forcing out Fatichan's flash, but also baiting MC forward. And FGG, once again, finding that first binding on a minion, then afterwards, the last one hitting on MC. It's just beautiful. A lot of resources burnt there. That was 3 summoner spells committed by the bot lane of Dusty. Didn't commit the Ignite because it wasn't available. So now the bot lane could be a little bit happier for MC to get down to because he has the flash from the Karma. He's got the cleanse for Jinx for a little bit of safety. Maybe they can now look to turn things around down there because, I don't know, it's very different look teams, but the game feels the same as we've seen already. It's still, yeah, in the 2v2, well, you're not going to get much out of that because some of the spells are still lacking on Riddle's side as well. So it needs to be someone else coming around to facilitate and engage like that. And currently for Riddle, you don't really have that. It kind of needed to be the mid lane doing that, but with the play failing in the early game, you don't really get that. I will say, as a silver lining, at least it wasn't Venza who picked up 2 kills. Very, very true. They have been going over one onto Lux, one onto Viking, who now has 2 kills, so at least they're able to take his bags of money and just wander around the map using them up. Escape is going to try and get engaged onto the Aatrox with the ultimate. Needs to be careful though, as the damage is going to be decent if the World Ender is popped. It is popped just defensively and will back away. It's kind of nice to see Kex not getting dove in this series. I mean, he is playing one of the most broken assassins in the top lane as well in that on. And we see it as well. Going on Steel Spellbook allows you to opt in for an offensive summoner spell choice with Ignite. But remember, we talked about summoner spells, and both junglers are down here. Viking moving forward. I don't think they spotted out MC. Spotted by Sweeper. Careful, FGG can have to back away, throwing down the damage, but will be able to secure the kill onto the Xin Zhao. Dukes and Fanichan run for the hills as Dusty secure another positive play. It's a decent read from MC because I know a slow push by Wences is being stacked up. Oh no, Kex. Oh, Kex getting knocked up before he dashes. Going to be dragged back in, and Aleph again the solo kill. Oh, and they can even keep up pressure. No, MC, or Viking rather, moving away from that bottom side of the map, but so much action has already come through from Dusty. And as I was just saying, it's a decent read from MC. He knew that Venza and FGG was going to be pushing forward, but Viking knew the same, and he was in perfect position to capitalize on the movement. Surely not. Oh, that's a lot of damage, and the snipe is going to be blocked out by Fanichan, who is going to look to back away. The Ignite was burning onto him, but both will survive from Riddle. But it's exactly how much Dusty's bot lane can do at level 6. It is a crazy amount of damage, and it's only really the taste of it. Sorg Boots has been finished up by FGG, and if he's a real chat, well, then he's going Ludens. And once that starts coming through, getting hit by 1 binding can mean death, especially because there's a Karma, there's a Jinx, and there's a LeBlanc. Both are very susceptible to getting 1 shot. And we've talked about how good FGG's been so far. You say 1 binding could be disastrous for Riddle. FGG's been landing these bindings. He's been landing all of the skill shots today, so he could be doing hilarious amounts of damage moving forward. And I mean, Dusty, dominant lead once again. Rift Herald's on the table, so this could be something that Riddle could potentially look to play around. But do they have the priority to do so? The thing is, if they want to fight for the Rift Herald, they'll have to move multiple members up towards the top side, and those multiple members would have to come from the bot side. Dusty, they realize this, and they say, you can go for that Rift Herald, but if you do, Venza and FGG will be taking the first turret. And even if they don't, I mean, even in the other scenario where Venza will just be crashing this turret and then they'll be moving FGG up, it's still a scary situation with Viking on 2 kills, Aleph on 1 as well on the Aatrox. Like, they're just currently not winning, Riddle. No, they're not. And
For Dusty, they're just going to keep the pressure on. Viking will find MC and could potentially look to make something happen. Loki's there. Aleph and Backlund are also in support, though, as MC has to go over the wall. Aleph following suit. So does Backlund. Everyone's diving through, and the first kill will go over to the Rise. Onto Zinzao. The damage is big. The snipe is not enough from Fatty-chan this time around as Viking steps away. Kex moving in, but can't find the flank and will be forced back to topside.
Kex was trying to see if he could find a kill with the long-range Call of the Forge God binding. Oh, that is so close. Just slipped his ass.
It was very... if that had landed, that might have been a kill. We need to see one of these landing at full health just to see how much FGG can do. But let's have another look at this play because everyone just commits so hard to get the kill.
And it's once again, just as we talked about, you don't win. Like, you don't win out of the 2v2 in the bot side. You don't win out of the 3v3. So Viking, quite confidently, just looking for the insec immediately. And with the Triumph coming through, also survives the rocket from Fatty-chan.
Members committed to the top side now for Riddle. The Rift Herald is available. But as you said, this allows Dusty to get themselves this bot tower. Unless they pull the trigger now onto the Rift Herald, which it doesn't look like they're going to do, it means that Dusty can just look to recall, commit to the top side, do the same thing while having priority over.
You're exactly right. This is what we see from a Caitlyn Karma all the time, or Caitlyn Locks. It's about getting the first turret and then just like a board game brick, moving this around the map wherever you want to commit plays. So we should just be seeing that, but bot lane suddenly turn into a top lane instead, especially with Rift Herald still being an objective to get, and it's still pre-14 minutes.
Yes. It is. So the 5 plates have been taken in the bot lane. 2 plates have been taken mid, 1 in the top side. Dusty starting up the Rift Herald. Only Viking just tentatively deciding whether he wants to go there, decides against in the end. But look at the gold on the bottom of your screen. That looks pretty tasty for Caitlyn.
It most certainly does. So far, what I think Riddle's best option is to go for at this point is see if you can get some plating on the bot side. Even then, actually, you're not allowed. Aleph's going to be moving down there. Aleph doesn't have that unleashed TP, though. So if a fight breaks out, he's forced to TP to a turret. So maybe Riddle is looking for some place here around the Rift Herald, but even then, Dusty, they're just backing out. They're trimming away the vision that Riddle has just set up, and they can just continue the siege on the turret. They are not in need of a Rift Herald, but it's a nice to have at this point.
I was going to say, Dusty are in no rush to do anything right now. They're absolutely fine, just taking their time, going to be able to grab up this Rift Herald. Although Riddle committing members, they might want to go for the fight. As you said, Aleph's the only person not here, so it's a 5v4 as the Call of the Forge God will be heard. Venz is going to get knocked up, as will FGT. Going to have to flash away from this one. The Rift Herald could be secured by Riddle, but Dusty don't want to give this one up without a fight. The eye is open towards them as they move forward. It's going to go low.
Well,
keep your eyes on the objective. Aleph's coming on. Bruce's damage is big. It goes on the nukes. It doesn't blow him up as Rift Herald will reset, but Aleph on the backline cuts off all retreats, and MC will be the first victim of the fight. Slow Q dives away. It's only going to be one called out for Riddle, but now they can turn towards Rift Herald once again. Dusty take it all.
It looked good initially while it was a 4 versus 5. They burned Summoners as well from Dusty, but as soon as Aleph joins the fight, there's nothing to do from Riddle, and Aleph still being the man of the talk. Slowky will get out of sight, and looks like they're just going to be taking care of the plating now. They have the Rift Herald. They can move this into the mid lane. They can move it up towards the top side. There's so many options currently for Dusty, and it looks like the point of attack will be that mid lane.
They want to secure this one as fast as possible. Make sure that there's no mid tower at the 14-minute mark. Make sure they're giving as much gold over to Backlund as they possibly can, because a Rise with a little bit of coinage is going to be doing wonders in the mid game. But let's have another look at this play, because Riddle successfully pushed them away, but then things go south.
This is where it looks good in the beginning, because well, it looks better, and good is not the word for it. It's like it's a 5 versus 4. We can try and go for it. Out of the replay.
Kex is trying to defend that tower. 3v1. I don't think he survives, though, as Backlund will tank up the last couple of shots. And is this going to be a 15-plate game?
I was legit just about to ask you the same question. It looks like it. 15 plates, 13 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. 2 Drakes have been accumulated as well. Every objective so far has gone over to Dusty. This might be a perfect game to clean out the series.
10,000 gold before 14 minutes.
Objective bounties will be live in 10 seconds.
But if they're not taking objectives, the bounties don't matter. I mean, okay, we're sitting in Riddle's chairs right now. Not the most comfortable seats in the house.
I feel dread.
What should Riddle be thinking? How do they get back into this game? What do they need to do to bring the game back a little bit in their favor? I'm
gonna quote Jamana on this one and say turn to religion. Sunday is coming up soon, 10 o'clock. might want to be saying a few prayers there because you're just not in control of this game. It's about Dusty making a mistake. And usually we'd say this maybe 25 minutes into the game, being like, yeah, it's looking a little bit dire, but it's coming to a close soon. You're relying on Dusty making a massive amount of mistakes. This time around, since it's so early into the game, that means there's a longer time where Dusty's allowed to make mistakes. And let's see if this is one of them.
Might have been caught out, dives away very effectively. Viking is there with the kick. The Call of the Forge God will land onto one. It's FGT. Viking will go down. No perfect game around here. As Riddle pick up a nice little pick. But that's all they get.
Yeah, but still, that is the first step. We were just talking about it. That is the first step. And Dusty, they're punished for not having proper vision control around where they're pushing. They had the good idea of pushing out their side lanes. Backlane was taking care of the top side. Aleph was down towards the bot side, but they pushed too far forward in the mid lane. Something up until this point in the series that Dusty, on the other hand, had been quite good at doing.
So step one is picks. At what step is send nukes on a flight to Iceland with a pair of scissors for some Ethernet cables?
Not too sure.
Bit of a Gwen main. It's all good. I'm fascinated to see how Dusty closes out. Because again, let's ask the question. They've got themselves all of the towers, which is nice. How are they going to be able to push through? Because as soon as they took all of those towers, we were like, brilliant, great times. We were in the midst of saying Riddle are going to struggle. And then there's an overextension, and then there's a kill. This is kind of when Dusty always seems to be making the small mistakes to give a window back in. The window is open a sliver. It is basically closed. But, I mean, Riddle, they found their way in through narrower openings before.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily, they're not against the strongest of souls. It's going to be a Cloud Soul they're up against. This allows you to wait for potential Baron or Elder, if that's going to be the case this early into the game. Because as we're going on track right now, 18 minutes into the game, Dusty will be sitting on Soul Point. That means by 23, they will be having their Soul. It's a very early Soul playing around with. And from there, that's where the game might start getting a little bit dire. But I'd say that's the deadline we're currently working with from Riddle. Around those 25 minutes, if you haven't really found something, that's where the bell has rang.
Wait, are you saying that that would be when it's starting to look a little dark? Because I don't know, Gulwog, but I think this looks pretty dark already for it.
Listen, I like being an optimist, okay? So let's say this is the even ground.
But
let's try and say it's
I'm going to question that a little bit.
coming through, fight might be breaking out.
Members of Dusty, they're moving on forward. So much goes on, but the Zinzao ultimate does a lot of work to avoid FGG. Kex is running on through, but he's just running a retreat route as he gets knocked up, taken low. Will he go down? No, he survives. The ace in the hole onto Fanchan will be taken by Slowcube in the end. Riddle don't lose any members, but that fight went so badly wrong.
That was a pretty even fight.
No, it wasn't. I am here for optimism. Riddle do have tools for the late game. You've got Jinx, you've got the Orn, so Ornaments will start getting a little bit of gold back, allowing you to close this gold lead in theory, as the Super Mega Death Rocket will go wide onto Venza as he moves away. But I won't have this. That was an even fight.
Okay, and you are right. It is completely an utter domination so far from Dusty, and they're running around with Riddle. They're literally just using them as punching bags. And, they're not going easy on that punching bags. That is like picture of my... No, I'm not going to go there. But either way, Aatrox can now move up towards the top side, has that teleport available, which means that they can just set up a flank ward around a Drake instead. They're going to be sitting on Soul Point in less than 30 seconds.
Here's the plan. Here's the strategy. Riddle are going to give away Dragon Soul. They're going to coin flip Elder, win the Elder fight with Elder Dragon. They're going to then wipe Dusty, take Baron, and then take a tower. And then Dusty will probably fight back, kill them all, and win the game. But
I don't like when you're just spoiling the game, like telling me how.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's
tension there. You're taking it away because it is still like you're not super tanky just yet. It's still squishy members, and it's still a LeBlanc. Thank you for demonstrating, Slowcube. That we are working with. Okay.
Oh, FGG. No support this time around. Teleport's coming on through as Kex is trying to be that assassin that we talked about earlier on in the game. Let's see if Venza can survive as the rest of the fight goes completely the way of Viking and completely the way of Dusty. They're going to chase on forward and get another one as they look to push towards this mid lane. I mean, hell, could they go and try and get a Dancing Herald?
They might just try and go for it if they want to. My God, FGG is so good this series as well. We highlighted Aleph as well, but this man
Aleph still MVP
has to get some praise. I mean, I'm a support main, FGG MVP so far with the championship. We're changing it up. And the thing is, he's been a driving factor in this game for sure, like really putting Venter in a good position as well, because behind every good AD carry, there is an even better support helping him walk around.
This is true, and I mean, FGG not looking like a support this time in the game. Look at the damage that he does.
I mean, that may be a cheap shot Lux to me. I'm really hoping it is. Because that damage is just absurd, and FGG, it's finding picks like that, but it's also the peeling at the same time we're getting from him, even in the later stages of that little skirmish. So now Rift Herald, I think, got secured, by Aliv. Soul Point as well has been picked up. 4 minutes and 30 seconds until Soul. I mean, that might just even be out of the question. They might just be trying a beta fight around the Baron in just a small couple of minutes.
I was going to say that, because do you think that Dusty could brute force the Baron?
I think they can, but I think it's not so much about brute forcing, it's about finding the turn instead.
Okay.
I think with the amount of map control you can gain by basically pushing the mid lane turret or minion wave all the way up to the mid lane turret, which is at the inhibitor, you can take so much control of the enemy jungle, which I think is what Viking and the rest of Dusty will want to do now. You can see it now, clearing out deep vision. They have a wave on top side to play on as well. They just have so many possibilities. And even then, right, you can move down towards the bot side where Alip will be current pressure in a bit.
He has to go gold, and a lot of abilities being thrown at him. The Lux will go down, not tanky enough to survive that one. As members moving forward, Dusty want to try and make this one a pick. They want to return at least one kill. Find it onto MC. Alip in the backline, finds it onto Fanny-chan, as Backland's going to be in the backline looking for more. Finds Kex, gets the damage down, as Alip marauds forward. Could potentially look for another nuke splash of the way. Will be able to get the snare down, and actually the assassination, Slowky gets the shutdown, but does go low, gets blown up. Fortunately, Alif isn't there with the Rift Herald to drop, which could be massive for real chances of surviving for the time being.
Yeah, for the time being, and because it's so early into the game, death timers are so low. 10 seconds for Fatigen, 5 seconds for MC. So they'll probably just be able to pick up this mid lane turret, and then they'll have to back out of there. But that's still a naked inhibitor waiting for you to come and pick it up.
Let's have another look at this fight, because FGG gets caught out. Good. Everything else, Riddle, less so.
Oh yeah, but I think FGG getting caught here is a little bit of a blunder. You get to play around with so much pressure, given the shutdown over. Definitely not what you want. But even then, right, it's still Dusty being so far ahead to the point that Riddle can't win the exit fight.
Back to him just going in there, making sure the Kex goes down. And this is really, really nice. You've got to feel that Alif survives here. They may well just go on to end the game with that Rift Herald. The wave would be looking to be brought in, but this time around, it's a respite for Riddle. Now you can see they're moving in, trying to set up around Baron again. It's a rinse and repeat because they're so far ahead. They can take plays that aren't so optimal. We're actually going to see the Rift Herald dropped in bot lane just to create some pressure.
And the game plan is still the same from Dusty. Push in mid lane. Potentially meet someone who's pushing in top. Take control of the enemy blue side jungle and just force them to come into you so you can take a fight. Because you're so far ahead, you really don't have to worry about taking a fight here as Dusty.
Teleport coming in behind, well not behind, but it's coming in to try and stop this slow Q's there. Kex, they're trying to force through this choke, but Alif is there playing bodyguard and should be able to get nothing actually as the snipe's going to come on through from Nukes. Half health just from the ace in the hole, but Dusty do relinquish this Baron attempt, at least this time around, as Slow Q trying to go toe-to-toe with Alif. Rift Herald just farming bot, you know, getting that split push going.
The thing is, every time he last hits a minion, it counts as a last hit for Alif. So, you know, you are getting some gold by this minion just being down there to Alif himself. And as you said, it's the pressure. Someone will have to respond to Shelly. Like, no one wants to do it right now because they know as soon as someone shows down there, they'll start up the Baron, which is exactly what Dusty have done again.
I mean, no one's even shown down there as they're going to be starting out the Baron. Get it to 8K, going to get the kill on to Slow Q. That could be big enough for them to just turn on the objective, but they want more. They're baying for blood as Kex is forced to back away. MC looking to get through the other choke, but won't be able to find it as members of Dusty move forwards towards him. Shelly's just having a great old time on the split push. We'll be able to charge down into that tower finally as Baron's started up for a third time in quick succession. The tower is secured on the bot side. The inhibitor laid bare as Dusty needs to be a little bit careful. Some members are going a bit low, but they're going to turn once again. This time though, Baron is kept running as Ritel's going to get the charge onto the inhibitor on the bottom of your screen as Baron goes low. Will they be able to secure this one? I think it should be pretty easy as MC comes on through. Can't get the snipe. It's going to be secured by Viking as MC loses his life. Kex is in retreat once more. Will be able to dodge away from FGG. as the rest of Riddle need to find the escape this direction. The snipe comes through, it lands onto Nukes. Ace in the hole will also hit the Karma as Aleph is chasing on, looking for his position in the next round. Cuts down Nukes to find his way there as Backland moves towards that bottom Nexus tower, which was charged by Shelly. No Dancing Herald, but you know what? This one is faster. Dusty, after 25 minutes, booked themselves a ticket to face Bifrost for that all-important place in not only the finals, but at European Masters.
And you know what? They might still be waiting a little bit. They still want the KDA. Fatty getting hit by the Draken Rage, and it will be Dusty. Finally, after padding the KDA, as you said, moving their way up to face Bifrost.